So many videos out there from your successful gurus telling us that you need to take risks in order to grow, in order to succeed. Now, I agree with that, right? Taking risk is essential if you want to grow. Taking risks is essential in business. But the question is, and that's the big question, is how do you take risk? Because you see, we are wired, our brains are wired the way to protect us. Taking risks feels uncomfortable for a reason. And that reason is because our bodies, our brains are trying to protect us from unpleasant consequences of reckless decisions, right? And this is where the risks comes in. So in order to understand how to take risk, you have to understand what risk is and how we can actually work it out. And the answer is, you need to learn to brainwash yourself into believing that there is no risk. Now, stay with me. So if we understand that risk is a defense mechanism trying to protect us, what we need to do, we need to figure out the plan B, the safety net. How do we tell ourselves, our brain, that there is no risk? Okay, so you can try telling yourself like, oh, there is no risk, oh, let's do it, I need to do it, all I need to do is to take a risk. But most of us will never do it unless you're a naturally born risk taker. So let's say you want to start a business. Rather than listening to the average advice we hear from all the gurus, like, just forget it, jump in, bro, it's going to be all right, bro. Don't worry, you have to do it and you have to be brave. Yeah, maybe, but I would imagine the best way to do it is to find your safety net and plan B. So let's say you've decided you're not happy with your job, you want to start your business, but you don't know how, and it feels scary, and that's fine, nothing wrong with that. But if you figure out the plan to make it less scary, it's not going to feel like a risk anymore. Oh, look, by the way, look where I am. How beautiful. English countryside. I'm just walking with my kids again. So how do you do it? If that was me, I would go this way. First of all, I would figure out the idea or what I want to sell to whom. Then I would put a MVP together, minimal valuable project or product, right? Something you can test, not for money yet. It's just to see if there are customers willing to pay for whatever you were trying to sell. Let's say it's a website, a landing page with a dummy product, a fake product, and then you just launch Google Ads for a few £100 to just see if people come in and they actually want to spend money. You can actually disconnect the payment system, so it's like at the moment when they want to pay, click pay, the payment won't go through. But you will have data that, there are customers, they were that close to make a payment, therefore the idea you're trying to sell has some, there's something there, right? It might work. So when you get to this point, you will figure out, oh, hang on, there is some people willing to pay for whatever I'm trying to sell. Therefore, if I make this product times 10, times 100, or scale it up a little bit, I might be able to replace my everyday job, right? And that's the whole thing. That's why you're trying to open a business in the first place. And that was the scary part for you, right? Because you thought that if you quit your job and start a business and you fail, you won't be able to pay your rent. But now you have the information on hand, which basically tells you that your idea works and there are people willing to pay for. This way, you will de-risk your whole business idea. You see what I'm saying? Now you can focus on actually building, tweaking that, polishing the whole business idea, and slowly introducing, start moving, like basically putting it live and start collecting money, selling it until you feel comfortable enough to just quit your job. And that's the risk. Of course, there's always risk. There's no guarantees. You can always fail at business, but there's no guarantees in your, your 9-to-5 job. You can get basically fired anytime, right? Especially with AI and tech, staying in your day-to-day job, thinking it's a secure place, and it's no risk. It's false. It's false belief, and I think lots of people will find out in the near future. It's going to be painful for many people. So de-risking is your approach on how to take more risk in life. Every decision you make in life brings some kind of risk with it. Even me working here, there is a risk something might happen. But I take this into consideration and I just think, okay, there is more likely I'm going to walk safely and there will be nothing risky happening in my life. although they might happen, right? That same thing goes to the biggest decisions in your life. If you figure out what's the system to de-risk it, make it less risky, you will automatically feel more likely to do it. And that's the secret for all the people, successful people or not, taking risks. The only difference is some of them are born that way, so they're natural risk taker because in their brains, and I am one of those, I kind of tell myself there is like, so what, and I just go with it. Or the other part of people, they just have to de-risk this in their minds, so they actually do it, and then they work out the business solution, or or whatever they're trying to achieve, right? One sec, because I'm working with my kids and there are cars everywhere. Let's go. And think about it, one more thing. So, like when you're 20, you might think about when you're in your 20s, your life was super risky. I mean, mine was. I was making so many stupid, risky decisions almost every day without realizing how risky they are. And the reason was because I wasn't, not because they were not risky, they were super risky, but I wasn't, focusing on the risk behind. My brain wasn't wasn't able to process the risk behind it. That's why all these young people do stupid things, because they don't understand the consequences, the risk. And that's the key here for you. If you tell, I'm not talking about talking to yourself into it, because it never works, or most cases it won't work. You have to make a real, tangible de-risking plan, safety net, so your brains will tell you, okay, now I see it. We have a plan A, plan B, it's going to be fine. In the worst case scenario is this. And then the risk stop feeling like risk. And you can keep taking bigger risk. The more risk you take, the more you learn to deal with it, the more solutions you will have. And the more you grow, the more successful you become. So that's it, that's the success. So that's the secret to success. And nobody's talking about this, right? So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please leave me a like. Consider subscribing to my channel. Leave me a comment. And yes, thanks so much for your time, for your support, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.